Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
It's by Qamda al-Maqdisi.
Ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi.
Yeah, that's who it's by. So I found it online. I was like, yeah, that looks exactly like what I'm reading.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
So we're on 39.
39. We are like done with this book. You guys have been
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, man, I can't even joke like that. It's better joke to say after these 40 years old piece of shit.
See, look at that.
But I
Look
can't
at
do that. I can't do that.
See how your Islamic personality is changing? You're like, I can't even say that.
I would joke, but I can't do
Oh,
that.
mashallah, man. Mashallah.
All right, so last time, the last one we ended on was the hadith that was about ordering good and forbidding the evil. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, after me, he said, indeed it is about to occur that I will be called and I will respond, meaning that he was going to die. Then after me, there will follow rulers over you who say what they have knowledge of and act upon what they know. Right? There will be good rulers. Obedience to them is obedience to me, and you will remain like that for a time. Then there will follow rulers over you after them who say what they don't have knowledge of and act according to what they don't have knowledge of. So whoever is sincere to those type of rulers and assists them and strengthens them, then they are destroyed and have caused destruction. Right? There will be bad rulers over you.
If you know so.
If you know, and if you are with them in their evil, right? You know that they're bad and you assist them in that. And so he said, then you'll share in their destruction. And so this is the point.
Here's this example.
It is an
There's
example.
right there.
Okay.
Let's say I put all my trust in you.
Okay.
You tell me a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
Like I believe it. So
But it's clear. But what if
I don't know.
Yeah, if you don't know, that's different. But if it's clear that I'm on corruption, right? You know someone's doing bad, and you roll with it, So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, accompany them with your bodies, meaning don't be against them physically. He said, but differ with them, differ with them by your actions.
But I do think, on a serious note, I do think, I wouldn't listen to you like every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I look up to you in a sense, but
That's fine.
I know you got a lot more knowledge. What?
You should kill him if you know something.
I know.
Yeah,
I will. I do.
But the Prophet ﷺ, he said, bear witness for the doer of good from them that he is a doer of good. And for the doer of evil that he is a doer of evil. So you have to be balanced. And the whole point of this was about enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. And you shouldn't be in a situation where you don't, right? You can be, like we say, be in the world but not of the world, right? We're in this dunya. You might be in a situation to where the people are around you and you have to be obedient to the ruler or you're around your environment, maybe in your family, maybe your friends, but you make sure that your actions are different than them, right? If they are upon corruption and they're the ones that have the stronger part of the society, as the Sheikh mentioned, if they are strong, then you're with them physically, you're not opposing them, but don't do what they do, right? And if they do good, say it's good.
Yeah.
If they do evil, say it's evil.
I think this hadith is very good timing too, because we have like a new election thing coming on.
Oh yeah,
so
it's
around
the corner.
we might see a whole. Someone might get elected, and we might see a whole new level of them.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at these last two hadith, and then we'll do the conclusion. So hadith 39. So after talking about enjoining the good and forbidding the evil and being very clear in that and not letting it prevent us, that even if there's all evil around us, we go against it by acting different, right?
Like we go through the crowd, not like follow the
Yes,
crowd.
yes, exactly. But even while doing that, we have to be cautious to avoid animosity and dissension. From Jabir ibn Abdullah radiallahu anhu, who said that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, indeed Shaitan has despaired that those who pray should worship him in the Arabian Peninsula. Right? Shaitan, at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gave up. No one's going to worship me. Maybe some other people, he could have got to them, but at the time, as Islam spread, he gave it up. He despaired.
This has not look. I'm sorry, but every time I'm seeing that, I
Now
like
you trying to read the
noon.
Arabic?
No,
Oh, you say
no,
noon.
no.
Yeah.
No.
He said, إن الشيطان قد أيس أن يعبده المصلون في جزيرة العرب ولكن في التحريش بينهم. He said, however, he seeks to provoke animosity between them. He knows that the people, the Muslims, are not going to worship him.
So effectively what you're saying is basically plan A isn't going to work, so he's lost to plan B.
Plan B is to turn the Muslims
if I can't make
against
you
each
worship me, I'm going to turn you against your brothers and sisters. And actually,
We say if you can't beat him, join him, right?
Yeah.
But he says if I can't beat him, I'll make them fight each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
but it's actually crazy because
Yeah, he
I
come
think
to you and he told you
I think like this is
This-
something
this.
that like we
Jamal said this to you.
that I see
And
a
he
lot
told
now,
you-
like
and Jamal said,
especially bro,
"Stop
like
fighting."
but not even just brothers to brothers, but people that also you care about most. You know what I'm saying? Like, like especially like family members. Like you have to ask yourself, like, is this animosity actually worth it, or is this from Shaitan? Like, I have that thing where I ask myself that question, like not on a regular basis, but I sometimes have that.
Yeah.
Like, particularly if I'm feeling like I'm having something bad with someone, so like a brother at the masjid pissed me off. I'm like, okay, is this Shaitan at his work, or is it actually valid? Like,
And it may be valid, but then Shaitan will make it invalid. He'll be like, the nerve of this guy. Really? You're just sitting there like,
Yeah.
the nerve of that guy.
Yeah.
He probably thinks this about you. You're like, yeah, he probably does.
I tell you, you do this on a regular basis now.
So
The voices in my head.
So he says, so the Shaykh, he says, rahimahullah, he says, so perhaps a word which one who does not realize allows to escape, there's something wrong. Which one does not realize allows to escape from his tongue, and it falls upon one of the servants of Allah, or a mistake he makes, perhaps this will cause a great fire to blaze in the hearts of the brothers, so that it destroys brotherhood and removes the love between them. So a word you're not thinking about, you say something and it falls the wrong way on a brother's ear or in his heart, and then he went home and he's thinking about that. You may not realize you did it something. You stepped on a brother's shoes and you didn't even know, and you didn't say, I'm sorry, and he's, hating you because of it.
Yeah.
And it's burning and it's destroying the brotherhood, a mistake that you made, or a mistake that he made. You have to look at, someone makes a mistake of you have to look at it and be like, okay, that may have been a mistake. Like you said earlier, is this really valid, my anger? Or is this Shaitan?
Is this Shaitan, Because I swear, like,
So when I felt like that towards humanity, that was probably Shaitan.
probably.
Maybe. So
I think it was a little.
what this shows
Tell
us
Sean,
is that brothers may say things and they may not realize it. And they may do things, just like you may do things and not realize that you offended somebody. Other people may do that too. So we have to take a pause, for ourselves.
Bro, like one thing that I want to, if we have time, but like reflect on this one is that especially us as like the revert community, like we talk about a lot of things that like scare people away, like people they say shahadas, they leave, right, or they have bad experiences, they leave, right. If you look at that like as a victory of Shaitan, well, I think that puts like a whole level of like way of looking at things that you might have not looked at it before. Like he wants Shaitan wants people to be scared away from the deen of Allah. Shaitan wants people to go towards misguidance. So he wants him to go back on the kufr and the misguidance that they were on before they accepted Islam. And so, like, if that's kind of like,
he wants us to be oversensitive.
He wants this, exactly. And so that's the thing, like, that's like, when you look at it like, you know, that's something that we talk about and something that we see on like a daily basis in our lives. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my putting, like, me putting my how I see it. You know, like that's what Shaitan wants from us. And so, you know, I don't know if that puts something in your heart, like, you know what, next time I see a brother coming, I'm gonna try extra hard. You know,
but think about that. And Ibn al-Qayyim, he mentioned that this is one of the tactics of Shaitan, is that if he can't get you to slip up and fall into sin, he's going to get people to hate on you. He's going to get the people around you to turn against you and make it difficult for you, make your life, you know, like you say, a living hell. You know.
The Prophet ﷺ said, if you go to the house, say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You say, you say, I didn't have no place here tonight.
Oh, so like when I come into Ansar, I should say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah?
Yeah, in your house.
In my house.
Nobody there.
Still, Bismillah.
Say Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You say, if nobody there, still say that. And the Shaitan, he said, I didn't have no food here, I didn't have no place here.
Yeah.
If somebody, the Prophet ﷺ, he teach us everything. If you go to that home, if you go to your wife,
To protect
you know,
yourself
all the
from
time,
Shaitan.
say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim,
When you
Bismillah.
eat, you know, all that
You know,
stuff.
you eat, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, he ran away from you. But if you come in and, you know, he said,
Yeah,
said
he
his
gets
kids,
energy. Yeah, he gets to rest.
Yeah, he
gets
said
to
his
eat.
kids, time to go take care of this and this. You have
Oh, okay. SubhanAllah. I didn't think of it like that.
everything say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, drinking water, drinking tea, drinking anything. You know, Shaitan is not, he's still away from you.
Okay.
So the Shaykh, he says, this is the most that Shaitan desires, right? This enmity between us. And it causes him to become joyful and happy, right? Again, he's given up. I can't break the Muslim, right? And we puff our chests and we're like, yeah. But he's like, but I'll get him to turn against each other. And understand that when he does that, then he's puffing his chest.
Yeah.
I can get them started. And he can get Muslims, unfortunately, bad enough to where they kill each other. Right? And there are some places in America where there are Muslims who have their own street gangs.
Yeah.
And they fight against other Muslims.
No,
Yes.
no, that's real.
Yes. It's real.
Nah.
No, wallahi, it is.
Yeah.
No.
What's
Having Muslims fighting each other in
Where?
the streets.
Yeah, all the time.
Where?
Killing these together.
Like in like Philly, like there's some in like
Yeah,
New
true,
York,
yeah.
West
No,
New Jersey.
in back my
Well,
country,
you know,
right by my country, one guy
Young
fighting
boy.
for buses
Mm.
because
the
he
bus
owned-
stuff.
No. The guy he owned buses and the other guy he owned buses,
And they're fighting.
and he fighting and he went to inside the masjid and kill him inside the masjid.
Wow.
Wallahi. He
In
shot
the
him inside the masjid.
And you think about that, and that's Shaitan.
Bro, that's like no fear of Allah, bro. Like, you go to the left, you shoot someone, bro.
That's crazy.
And
Wow.
they will, for like in Jordan,
Mhm.
vote, you know, like for election,
Mhm.
people fighting with rocks, with guns, with this.
Wow.
Like a big mom.
And again,
Like a reading a
But you said,
Quran.
There
you said,
was-
you said,
there was
you
a-
said like election?
Election, yeah.
Okay.
there was a song when I was back in high school, and it was called "Ain't the Devil Happy," right? And
Was
so-
that in the 50s?
But
No, what's up?
ain't the devil happy? So when we see things like this and Muslims aren't getting along, we have to remember, we can think all the conspiracies like, oh, it's these people did this, these people that, but ultimately it's Shaitan,
Yeah.
right? Ultimately, he's the one who is happy about it.
And if
So-
we fit into it, it's winning.
And we feed into it, he wins. So he says, so what we have indicated certainly occurs and is bound to occur, right? It's gonna happen. And it leads to widespread evil and danger. So since this is the case, right? Because Muslims are gonna fall into enmity with each other, is one thing that the Prophet ﷺ asked that not happen, and he said that Allah did not grant him that. That the Muslims, are at times we're going to
And the
have enmity.
Hadith, we can only be mad at each other just 3 days.
3 days, yeah. For something that is, personal. If there is something that is Islamic, then there's some exceptions to that. But for personal matters, 3 days.
Okay.
So, but he says, so since this is the case, that this leads to widespread evil and danger, that we have to have the means to escape the trial which befalls the people when there is fitna, right? And matter of fact, in there I got Sheikh Saad's book. He has a book of 40 hadith on fitna, right? What to do in situations of fitna. He doesn't have the explanation. I'm gonna tell him that he needs to make a second edition with explanation. But the means to when the fitna happens, when we're in that situation where we don't know, there's what they call fawda, right? There's confusion, right? And there's fitna and trials and tests, and you don't know which way is up, What do we do? And so he said from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhuma, who said, how will you be when you are covered by a trial in which the young grow up and the old become infirm, meaning they get sick? A fitna so bad that it takes away the child's childhood, right? Children have to grow up fast, right? And there are fitnas that we see in this world where this type of stuff is happening, right? Where kids are going through stuff that kids shouldn't have to go through, and then the young grow up, and the old people, they become weakened because of it, because it's such a stress on them that it weakens them. He says, how will you be when that happens? This is what the Prophet ﷺ was asking.
That happened with me.
Yeah, many of us.
Yeah.
He says, if anything of it is abandoned, it is said, the sunnah has been abandoned. It was said, when will that occur, O Abu Abdurrahman? He said, when your scholars pass away. Right? When the scholars pass away. Why is that significant, the scholars passing away? Why would that make a difference? Why would that make the fitna even worse?
Because then people wouldn't have guidance.
Yeah, no guidance.
Yeah.
You can't find the right way because he said the scholars pass away and the ignorant amongst you become many. So the people who know are gone. But the people who don't know, they're in abundance.
Yeah.
And they're telling you whatever they think, whatever their
everyone's got
opinion
their own
is.
spin on it.
Exactly.
And it's not going to be the right one.
He says, when those who recite amongst you are many, but those who have understanding of the deen are few. Think about that. What is he? Recite what?
Quran. Bro, this is true, bro. This is...
How many of the people memorize the Quran and they don't understand a single word of it?
A lot of it.
A lot. So he said, when those who recite are many, but those who understand the deen are few.
Bro, you know,
This is a fit.
Like, this is actually something that's very, like, even I personally see a lot. Like, you see a lot of it where, like, a lot of parents, they force, like, because we're Reba, so maybe it doesn't see it, but a lot of parents, like, they force their kids to go to, like, the Quran class, like, school, and they just learn to recite the Quran, but like, when it comes to, like, actually applying the deen in their life, it's just, like, none of it's, like, I mean, like, I've had, like, a personal situation where, like, I've had that, well, I've seen that personally, bro.
I've seen it.
Yeah. You know, I've got, like, what I was going to say, like, personally, so I've got a younger, like, brother-in-law, his name's Daniel, he's 13.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, he can recite Quran in perfect hafs. Like, he just, like, you give it, he recites it like that.
Yeah.
But like, I've had to have, I'm not going to embarrass him or say anything, but I've had to have some discussions about with him. I'm like, you're Muslim, you should know this. Like, you know, that kind of thing? Like,
Right,
this is
right.
very simple things,
and
right?
it
Like,
is surprising.
I'm like...
As when I was teaching, you know, I found a lot of students were like that.
Yeah, and you gave an example at your madrasa when you was like when the students were asking about the najis on the toilet seat,
Yeah.
and you're like, What gets rid of najis? Water. What is the point in me teaching you if you don't apply it in your life?
And I wasn't even teaching them. I'm like,
Yeah, this is I remember this is the thing you told me.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
we're like, okay, if there's pee on the toilet seat, what do? You spray some water on it.
Don't just sit there and point at it, you know.
If the water gets rid of the najis off you, it gets rid of the object. And like it seems common sense to me, but you have kids that are like this. And but then you give them a Quran and then they're like, you know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
again, this is a time. This shows that this is the time of fitna.
yeah.
He says, when your leaders are many, but those who are trustworthy are few. And we see that the Muslims have been divided. I mean, here alone, let's say in Dallas, right? We're not even going to talk about world leaders. How many Muslim leaders we got? Lots of
Too many.
yeah. We got all different massages, musalla, the Islamic centers, and everyone's a leader, got an organization. He said, but those who are trustworthy are few. And we inshallah, we hope that they are trustworthy. He said, when this world is sought with the actions of
That's
the
why
hereafter.
we should just follow the Quran. You know what I'm saying?
But listen, he says, when this dunya is sought with actions of the hereafter. How many people, do we see seeking dunya by recitation of Quran? Seeking dunya by making the salah. Or by doing things that we would normally do to get,
But we live
hereafter, but we're doing it for
But we
dunya.
live in a world where following Muslims can literally lead you to the hellfire. I remember you gave us a Halaqa where we was talking about like the first people that will go to the hellfire are Muslims. Think about it.
The ones that know the Quran.
Yeah, think about it, bro. Like,
Fought jihad, gave in charity.
well,
For the wrong reason.
but have you ever had a conversation with another Muslim and it's been along the lines of like, oh well, I saw so and so do it, so it must be fine. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, it doesn't matter what so and so does. What matters is Quran and Sunnah. That's what tells us what we should do. Not if so and so does it, oh, it must be fine.
And so lastly, he says, when knowledge is sought for other than the religion, right? And he's talking about knowledge of deen. Right? We're searching for
That's
knowledge
one
of
reason
deen
why I don't correct nobody no more.
for
'cause
other than the deen.
I had this girl, sister, she was a born Muslim from Morocco. I was telling her something like that was wrong. And like I was showing her where it was, like a hadith, authentic hadith. She was like, nah, but I'm a born Muslim and my whole family does it. It don't make it right.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
You know?
But
Yeah.
how many people are going to get Islamic degrees? And it's not for Islam. So the Shaykh, he says at the end, so the means of escape when the time is like that is to follow the example provided for us. Indeed, obeying and following the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the greatest escape from the fitna that envelops us. And it is the greatest lantern showing the way in the depths of darkness and ignorance. So by knowing his sunnah, that which is worthless will be uncovered. If we know the sunnah, then we know the value of things. That which is false will be exposed. The affairs will be returned to their true state, and the hidden signposts will be made manifest. Then there will be no place for those who pretend to have knowledge. If we all know the sunnah, then we can recognize the people, right? That's why the Salaf, they used to say that the knowledge, the men are known by the knowledge, and the knowledge isn't known by men. It's not about the name, like in basketball they say, it's not about the name on the back, it's about the name on the front, right? So if we know the truth, then we'll know it's men. But if we don't know the truth by men, like if he said it, then it's true. No. If it's the truth, it will expose whoever's lying. It says, then there will be no place for those who pretend to have knowledge, nor for the envious, nor for the boldly speaking beyond his limits, nor for those who rant carelessly. So the sunnah is a guiding light. He who knows it has attained great good, and he who is ignorant of it will meet great evil. So for Allah, O servants of Allah, learn and act, and fear Allah and obey Him, that you may be shown mercy. And in conclusion, he says the Islamic personality is a clear and distinct personality. Its fabric is the Book of Allah, and its thread is the Sunnah. And these two are inseparable. Look at that. It is the thobe, right? And the thobe is made of the Quran, and it's stitched together with the Sunnah, right? That makes the garment. Hilya. Right? So, it is a sincere and determined personality, educated and refined upon a precise methodology which does not contain even the slightest deficiency. And how could it? Since it is the religion of Allah, Rabbul Alameen. So, what I have written is knowledge which is path to action. Right? We're not just learning this stuff just to learn it. He wrote it so that it can be acted on. He says a reminder which leads one to obey and follow, and advice which is essential for the attainment of benefit. So he ends with the dua. So I ask Allah to grant success to myself and all of the Muslims, and that He establishes us upon the way and methodology of His Prophet ﷺ. He is the best one to ask and the greatest one who responds. And our final call is Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And he wrote this in Jordan. What's the place called? Azarqa?
Zarqa.
Yeah. He wrote it in Ramadan in 1408 Hijri. What is it now?
1446.
40. Is it 46 already? I think it's 44.
2 minutes.
No, it is 1446. So he wrote this almost 40 years ago. Almost 40 years ago. Rahimahullah. And that is the Islamic personality. So,
The name.
Sheikh Ali Hassan al-Halabi.
Halabi.
Yeah. So, again, so in addition to the
Alaikum
Sheikh,
salam.
may Allah Ta'ala make us of those people who have this Islamic personality and make us better Muslims. And not just us, all of the Muslims. And that we have this type of character that influences others. We should want to be examples, you know. Not necessarily that we always push ourselves out in front, but at the same time that we want that type of, you know, like workplace will have like, you know, attitudes are contagious, you know. Is yours worth catching, right? So we want to have that Islamic attitude and be something that is influential. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. This means next week we will start something.
What? Like what? No.
We'll be talking about etiquettes.
Okay.
Like what kind of etiquette?
Like etiquettes of the masjid, etiquettes of the home, etiquettes of the bathrooms, etiquettes of eating, all those these fun things.
That sounds
Etiquettes with the Book of Allah. And it will primarily will come from a book called Minhaj al-Muslim, which is a good book for you guys to have, by Abu Bakr Jabir al-Jazairi, Algerian.
Hey, Shay.
Not this
Look, I was doing a halaqa.
Thank you.
Look, be quiet. Be quiet.
Finish. Just again now.
Okay.
See that? See how we treat it? I treat it right.
Assalamu alaikum.